This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, beginning at verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And the virgin daughter of Babylon is aka America. Babylon the Great. You know, it's a number of reasons why this place is, labeled Babylon and daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great. But it says, "O virgin," because this place basically hasn't ever been invaded by foreign troops. You know, basically it's a virgin to that. Yeah, you had a civil war, um, but as far as when this place became a nation, you know, you know, basically it hadn't been invaded and conquered by another country. You know, it says, and then the modern day Chaldeans is these elites, because when you go into the Chaldeans, they were like the elites and the sorcerers of the Babylonians. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the lathe, uncover the thy uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So basically, that's going into this place being exposed for the defiled, polluted cesspool of filth and degradation and wickedness that it is. You know, America is paints an image of you know, like when you got the Hollywood. You know, it's just like for instance, like I've had the opportunity to go out of state. Some people never leave the city that they're in their whole lives. That's how sad Babylon is. And I've had an opportunity to call lawyer Yahya Bashimi Al to travel, meet brothers. Before I was even in the truth, I went to Florida when I was homeless to survive uh, because the city I'm in Cleveland, and we're in the Midwest, we're in a canyon. I got to visit California. California, like Long Beach, is in a canyon. So when you're in a canyon, the weather is weird like that. Like when Cat Williams made that special about Cleveland, he was like, you got on a jersey with some Timberlands with a triple fat goose. You know, he made a joke because he said you don't know what to wear here because the weather be one way one day, one way day another day because of where we sit at. How we sit in the valley. Saying all that to say this, um, you know, I was in Florida at one point, and you know, they America is a land of illusions because you see Hollywood and you thinking, oh well, Florida really looks like that. When I got to Florida, although I wasn't in Miami, I was in Jacksonville. Nonetheless, like, you see them palm trees, but it's nothing like you would have thought it would have been. You know, different energy out there for sure. But saying all that to say this, it's a land of illusions. Um, and basically this place is being seen for the you know the well, it tells you in the book of Malachi how Esau shall build, but the Most High God shall throw down. So no matter how much they build and trying to make America great again, that's what a lot of brothers was laughing at that statement that Trump made. Yeah, you can want to make America great as much as you want. It's not the will of Yahweh Shemi Shot for it to be made great again. Even with this whole NWO, Great Reset, all these things that you have been plotting, planning, your whole chaos theory of bringing order out of chaos, it still is not going to come to fruition. Now, to a degree, it'll be set up, but it's not gonna, you know, come to complete fruition like they want it to. Um, I ain't trying to make this that long. It's just I seen a video yesterday, early this morning, and it caught my attention because even 2/3 know that this place is over with. they can sense it, you know. So without further ado, it shouldn't be a very long video, but
And no, I'm not talking about anything X-rated. I'm talking about eating out to go eat. Haven't you noticed that everything's just a little bit shittier? I'm telling you right now. It's one thing if your packages are coming late. It's one thing if, your orders are coming late. But it's another thing if you got somebody who's cooking your food that's brand new, doesn't know what they're doing. Now your boy got the bubblies. I've had the bubblies for about a week now. I ate some food. I went out.
and that ain't just not a person not knowing what they're doing. Although, yeah, you got companies desperate to try to, because you got to understand by the government and them shutting down everything, and basically you got to understand how these economies work. Like the way that because of the petrodollar, our economies are all kind of linked together. That's why it was ingenious for them to actually like make the petrol or the U.S. dollar, the petrodollar, the world reserve currency, because it's the world's reserve. It's a currency that the whole world uses. To like do moves to sustain their countries. The biggest one is oil. To purchase oil that all countries need to a degree because most um, technology, most equipment runs off of oil. Um, and, but by doing all that, that affected other countries' economies, and then you had to replace these workers, that quit or for whatever reason because you got all this free money that was floating around. I know people that literally got 20 stacks. Well, I don't know, but I'm hearing about it. Like you got people, the average nigga that ain't used to having no money or seeing no money, get $20,000 and blow through it like it was two. They ain't got a car. They ain't buy a house. They ain't buy a business. They ain't buy, I know people that started businesses with a van and a power washer. Bought a van and a paint. It's a paint. It wouldn't paint their houses or a spray painter. You know what I mean? Well, I forgot what that machine called that spray paints. You can spray paint houses and all that shit with it. Saying all that to say this. I know people that actually took the money and did the righteous thing with it. You got a lot of people that took the money and blew through that shit. Bought a lot of frivolous, goofy shit, and now waiting for the next PPE, the PPP. They wait for another one. You know what I mean? Not knowing, like I say, this government. It's the same government that issued that money out and then came back and told people that you owe 30 and 40,000 and all that. Like I did videos on this. There was a woman that legitimately got the money and the government came back and said you owe money. So it's not just the fact that, people don't know what they're doing. It's people don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because those that are still working in the workforce are being overworked. You got a lot of jobs that's going unfilled. And just because you ain't got the manpower doesn't mean the job can't be done. Like the kind of job I work in something like a factory. So my job is production. We short staffed all the time. Yeah, we still are expected to get that order out. So, it ain't necessarily the person, people don't know what they doing. Of course, people, you supposed to wash, when you work serving, you working in food, you supposed to wash your hands consistently. People ain't wash. People don't even do the temperature check to check to see if you got a fever. You know what I mean? I've had a few jobs that I've seen that happen. You know what I mean? So
To eat, okay? And I got sick. And then after that, I just went to the Burlington Coat Factory, and there was no coats. So now I'm just.
And then I'm here, my roommate, she said, a lot of these grocery stores, basically because what people don't understand is it ain't just we talking out the side of our neck or our ass or whatnot. Like literally, like this shit, the supply chain is truly broken. I know people in different states. You got brethren in different states. That's the beautiful thing about this truth. So you ain't going by, your Fox 8 fucking news or those, what I mean? Like your Fox News or nothing. or the local news, you hear news in other places. You get it firsthand. You got people in actually ground zero type shit. And they telling you like you got people that's paying like like the elder Malcolm in Chicago. He was saying how I'll never forget. He was like it was him and another brother that went out to eat. He was like they got like 4 or 5 items and the bill was like $70. So that's another witness to the fact that this place is basically draining down the hole. You know how like something when you flush the toilet and something spins around the toilet bowl before while it's going around the toilet bowl to go down the drain. That's what this place is doing.
Like that, everything around me is just getting shittier and shittier. And then I was talking to somebody about this.
And that's the sign of the times. Matter of fact, let me get this. Because we at the end, you know what I mean? Like this is the end of an age, you know what I mean? Where is that at? This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9. Because this was prophesied to happen. And it talks about in verse 2nd Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, and the signs are going into the prophecies, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So the Most High God is working and about to send our big brother Yahushua Mashiach back by the prophecies. That's how you measure the time. It talks about standing and being on your watch. It talks about make the vision, make it plain upon tables. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which we've been witnessing, you just had that riot that happened in Kazakhstan. You had uproars here. You had the different protests. You got a whole protest going on right now with the trucker thing. You got truckers that literally are not delivering shit and literally call themselves protesting. And then what people don't understand, they try to get the military to intervene, and the military said, go get somebody else to go do it. So this is going to turn into something very, very horrible. I wouldn't be surprised if they have to go get UN troops. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. When you go into the word manifest, it means to be suddenly appear. It's beginning to appear. You're beginning to see it. And that's why this 2/3, because I believe he a 2/3 based on the video. I watched 2 videos of his. He kind of worldly, and a spiritual man is not worldly. Like we in the world, but we not of the world. We still got to function like everybody else. We got to work our jobs to pay our bills and take care of our families and whatnot. But we're not like involved with the world like that. It tells you in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 about a good soldier. It talks about a good soldier is not basically cares of the affairs of this world, Because at the end of the day, you may have to give up everything in this world. Look at Job. Because at the end of the day, it's about holding your integrity, That's deep because, when you take the time to think about it, Job had to give up everything for, and to hold his integrity because he would not sin against the Lord by, blaspheming him. And yeah, he did a lot of, and it's very spiritual because, like I say, I'm going to speak for myself first and foremost. I catch a lot of hell. It seems like every time I look up, I'm going through something, and that's the Most High God working because he's purging, but, sometimes you got to man up. And that's what he told Job. And he said, gird up thy loins like a man. When you go into your loins, that's your nuts. That's in the Bible. Did you know that? He said, gird up thy loins, meaning, grab your nuts. Don't tuck your nuts. Stand up like a man. Because only a man has testicles. So when you go into testicles, only a man can testify. That's why it's real deep. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things, just a lot of things. This place is an illusion. Like I was saying before, when I first started the video, this place appears one way when it's truly another. But like I said, I had to bring that out because he's saying that everything is shittier because it talks about, in the Apocrypha about how men were at a bigger stature and they're smaller, not because everything is getting smaller, because the earth is, basically dying, you know what I mean? And this devil is basically killing it, you know what I mean? All this pollution, you know what I mean? This motherfucker talking about blocking out the sun. Now, why would you block out the sun when every creation of the planet needs the sun to sustain itself and survive? But if you go look this shit up, Bill Gates actually was talking about blocking out the sun. Shit, the Moabites, who you ignorantly call Chinese, they talking about making an artificial sun. What the fuck is the purpose of this? To try and be like the Matrix for real? You know what I mean? Like, 'cause when you understand the life on this planet revolves around the sun. Salakia.
The other day, and I was like, yo, like, if you gotta think about like restaurants, these people, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's like new, everybody's trying to like, everybody's a new hire, or it's either you're a new hire or you don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
And that's what it is. It's a little bit of both, because it's either, you got a lot of people, because there's a lot of jobs out there right now. And like I said, because of the fact there's so much free money floating around, a lot of people ain't trying to work. You got people that literally had decent jobs as far as like with benefits, because I ain't gonna say the pay. Nobody actually is getting paid what they really feel they worth. I know I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I get paid more than the average. Like, I ain't no minimum wage type of guy. But at the same time, like that's for instance, when people think about like Amazon, everybody like, oh, starting off making $15 an hour. But do you understand how many people I've met that worked at Amazon that quit that shit? Because they like, man, do you understand how much work they do? You know what I mean? Especially if you like one of them guys that's unloading shit, like you just unloading shit all day. And then you got to remember, you can buy pretty much anything off Amazon. You know what I mean? Like they contract and subcontract with everybody. You can buy all kind of shit. You know what I mean? I think I say something on Amazon, you buy a fucking car. You know what I mean? Like, right. So at the end of the day, saying all that to say this, that's not an easy job. But when you first hear that $15, $16 an hour, oh, that's sweet. But that motherfucker ain't doing that. $15, $16 is the minimum wage now. You get paid $600 a week, and even if you ain't got no habits, just paying bills and, doing little, like you literally fuck around and be broke unless you got another hustle, or you doing Uber Eats, or you doing something. You got a bag to sell a nigga or something like that. So, like literally, like, this paycheck to paycheck shit is literally fucked up. And that's why this is a debt-based system, because literally based on that job, you can go, okay, to really like call yourself living it up, you got to go get credit. And you go get credit to get that car that you want to drive, or live in that place you want to live. Shit, you got to have credit to move in certain apartments. But yet and still, though, you know what I mean, based on that credit, like that, you get what I'm saying? Like it's debt, you know what I mean? Because credit, they basically saying that they're loaning you this or allowing you to get this because they're saying that you're good to pay it because you pay your bills. So they basically giving you something. Your income might be $40,000, but they giving you $150,000 worth of shit. So when you actually take the time to, like really think about that, like with student loans and all that, like all that is like scam shit. I didn't understand that when I first went to school. For real, if you want to know the truth, I went to school talking about give me that little money because I'm about to try to take that shit and flip it. How much of a nigga I was. So, you know what I mean? But the point is, and now I got all this stupid ass debt. And you know what I mean? And, it's kind of like how when you got all these people that literally was in school, then they basically, the pandemic came, and then basically, they stopped basically like the majors that they was going to school for literally are no longer in existence. So basically they got degrees, or put 3 years into a degree that you can't even do anymore. Because you got to understand the whole workforce and all that is changing. I just read a post. They said basically more robotic workers was added to the workforce last year than in any year previous. You got fucking machines at McDonald's that flip burgers. I remember growing up, I worked at a McDonald's. That was one of my first jobs. In McDonald's, it used to be like 30 fucking employees in McDonald's. Now you go into McDonald's, it might be what? 10, you might have had what, 8 registers. Now you got what, 2? Because now you can order off the kiosk. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, this is being done right in your face, but most people ain't getting it because most people, can't see.
You got to think these are the people that are cooking your food. And I don't want to, and I'm saying this knowing the impact that the restaurant industry is going through right now. But at the same time, son, I've had the bubblies for like a week and some change. I need to put the word out there. You got to think about it. These restaurants, new people. They're cooking, they're washing, they're cooking your food. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And even fast food, you got to think about it too. These got to be new people to clean the place. You know what I'm saying? You got to train a whole bunch of new people. Look around, ask around. It's a bunch of new hires. You think all these people know what they're doing? You got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just being on hold for a really long time. It's more than just that, It's crazy. It also shows you how fragile things are. You know what I'm saying? Like how something, I don't want to say, it is a big deal. It is a big deal, but it's just crazy how it's just like, nigga, like we're supposed to be bouncing back, but things seem a little bit sketchy right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't get anybody on the phone. Every business in the world is using COVID as an excuse for all the shitty stuff that's happening. They even put it in their voice recording. They be like, due to COVID, we have a limited staff. Therefore, you're going to be on hold. Yo, this is on Jesus. Yo, this is on everything I love. God is my witness. I was on hold with GM, okay? I was doing some shit with GM. I was on hold with GM for like an hour and a half, and I got frustrated, and then I hung up, called again, but this time I wanted the text system. I got a text message that said, please wait, we'll be right with you. This was at like 7, this was late afternoon. On everything I love, I got a text message the next morning from somebody saying, we're ready to service you now. You got to think about it. It's just like, yo, everything is just shitty here, B. Everything. And they're using COVID as an excuse. Limited this, limited that. It's like, yo, come on, man. It's like, all right, cool. But, nigga, y'all, that's eat healthy and eat, well, I don't want to say eat healthy like I eat. No, I do want to say eat healthy. You know what I mean? But I got to do better myself. But at the bare minimum, you better start cooking in the crib, fellas. Fellas, you better learn how to cook. Listen, man. If you got a ramen noodle, is it up? Hot dog it up. Listen, man, your boy's a master chef when it comes to that cinnamon toast crunch, okay? Don't disrespect me. But at the end of the day, you got to be aware, if everybody's new, the sanitation levels, the cleanliness levels of these restaurants, these fast food places, they're downgraded too, just like everything else. So while I'm over here sitting on the toilet for 10 hours strong, okay, I'm here to remind y'all gotta do better. You feel me? Wash your meat and all of that. And I hope things get better.
And I'm gonna end it there because the point is he made my point. He helped to get my. This was the inspiration for the video because at the end of the day, he makes some stupid ass comments afterwards, talking about he hoping it's gonna get better, and it's not. It's gonna get worse actually. At the end of the day, but he makes a lot of good solid points. You living in a time of inflation. If the meat that you buy and the food that you buy from the grocery stores is going up, why would you be going out to restaurants like that any fucking way? You got to understand. People actually get little side businesses where they make food and had to close their businesses because they can't afford to keep up with buying their product, the food, to sell the food or pay their bills. So, as much as, like the brother say, if you like it or yes, brother forbid the valor. It ain't about if you like it or not. It's going to, like the Most High God, put a time limit on this place. And that's in the book of Job. I'm not about to get it. I'm about to actually end the lesson with this scripture. Because at the end of the day, Babylon had been like a golden cup. This is the place that everybody literally aspired to want to be like. That's why you had so many people from other countries want to come here because this was considered the land of milk and honey. You know, you come here, you got equality. You know, that's why when women come here from other countries, what's that one chick name? I can't think of her name. She from the islands or something. And they was like she can't go back there because basically she Americanized. That's just, I mean, that's a spirit that's on a lot of these women. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that Jezebel spirit. Thinking it's okay to have 60 rods in you. You know what I mean? Like that's not okay. If and the funny part is if a female don't want a dude to be popping multiple women, why do they have in their mind that they could be popping multiple niggas though? Because the so-called white man told them that's okay, huh? And not understanding that literally, like, you know, a man puts his spirit on you. I got something that goes out. You got something that goes in. I'm meant to give shit. You meant to receive things. You know what I'm saying? So every time a man literally comes inside of you, like you taking on that man's essence, his spirit. When a nigga busts off in you, his spirit is going to, you know what I mean? That's why a lot of you motherfucking females bugged out. But like I say, and that's again why I say cesspool. Like, you know how you got like just a cesspool of a coochie that's just, or the kwaba has just been tainted with multiple rods, you know what I mean? Like the elder Malcolm says, the penis carousel, the dick carousel, you know what I mean? Like that's all fun and cool when you think you got a choice. But what happens when men out here just taking shit, like back in the day? You got places in the world where motherfuckers still take shit. Now, me, myself, I know what the world gonna be like. So the last thing that will be on my mind in that day of trouble, if I'm around, is some pussy. I'm gonna be like of Denzel Washington off of the Book of Eli. You know, when the bitch was like, "Can I come with you?" He was like, "No." You know what I mean? Like, because literally, like, you got to understand. Remember when they used the female as bait to get him to come back there, and then like 20 niggas popped up out of the cut. Like, so you got to take time to think about that. It was one female and like 20 dudes. So you don't think them dudes had their way with her? This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse. I'm going to start at verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, meaning her sins. For this is the time of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense, meaning a reward. Because when you go into a reward, it's a payment. That's all it means. So a reward is not always a good thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I love the fact that the elders, the way that they teach. I was just saying that the other day, how, because, they haven't went to school to be, certified to be a teacher, but they are the greatest teachers that I've ever come across. And that's why I often bring out that Isaiah when it talks about thy eyes shall see their teachers and they shall not be removed. So, because, at the end of the day, they go into, you need to understand words. You need to, the better way to be able to actually understand to be able to actually know these scriptures, you got to understand what you're reading. When you go into a recompense, it's a payment, and a payment is not always a good thing, so. So, saying all that to say this, if you was a wicked ass, it talks about in the book of Revelations. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it. Because it talks about in Revelations about how Yahweh Shai coming with his reward. I think it's at 22, matter of fact. This is Revelations 22 and verse 7. Let's lock it. Revelation 22 and verse 12. And it says, and behold, I come quickly. And that's talking about Yahushua Mashiach. And my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So when you go into reward, it's a payment. And basically, he said to give to every man according as his work shall be. So for the righteous, they're gonna receive a righteous reward, and for the wicked, they're gonna receive a reward fit for the wicked. And that just what it is. Back in Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. And when you go into the wine, you know, you got, when you read and understand the scriptures, wine can be actual wine that you drink, but actually wine can also be philosophies. You know, you got these nations drunk off of the philosophies. Like Aleister Crowley had the philosophy of do as thou wilt. You know, when you go into the Stoics and the Stoics and not the plebeians and the patricians, but the Stoics and the Epicureans. The Epicureans was basically in a Aleister Crowley spirit. Do as thou wilt. Do as what feels good. You know, who your boy Jay-Z promotes. You know, this motherfucker got the Greek Sphinx on t-shirts. Motherfuckers don't even know what that means. But when they talk about it, it's a conspiracy, huh? A conspiracy is something that can't be proven. This nigga wear the shit. Talk about the black elite. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, what did you have to do to be considered the black elite? You know what I mean? That's how you know all this shit is tied into with each other too. A rapper turns into like one of the wealthiest so-called black people in the country. You know what I'm saying? That's just that influential. And motherfucker think you could just make it. Anybody can make it from, like, if that's the case, then what? You don't think it's some nigga out there that's way more. I know some nigga. I was just locked up. It was a nigga in that bitch that was actually, when I was in the hole, he was actually like singing, talented than a motherfucker. I guarantee you this guy was way more talented than Lil Nas X. So why is it Lil Nas X is just promoting some industry baby? I'm talking about we getting our videos taken down for literally reading out the scriptures and bringing out news articles, but then you can have a video like Industry Baby with Lil Nas X, or that other one, Montero, when he riding on the devils, when he riding on the little midget devil, and then he killed the devil. Like this is okay though, right? And then motherfucker think something wrong with me though. And that's the point. That's the philosophy. You know, this devil's philosophies, and you know, and he's basically got the world and indoctrinated the world with them, and you know, that's why. But you know, because of the fact that this is off, is against the Most High God. That's why the nations are being judged as well. You know, I mean, like I said, it's been stuff going on. For instance, the Kazakhstan thing. You know, I believe that was Kazakhstan, the place where basically they had that uprising, where it's the violent uprising, where they was cutting the motherfuckers' heads off. Like, they was literally, like, they wasn't bullshitting on nothing. And that's the spirit the Lord put on them. So just imagine what kind of spirit He gonna put on these Babylonians, aka these Americans. Because again, if you wasn't aware, America is the most heavily armed, has the most heavily armed civilian population in the world. Certain places in the world you can't have guns. Like China, the citizens can't have guns. You know, like real shit. Why do you think they could control they you know, China has a socialistic government. They believe in socialism. Basically, the government distributes to everybody the same equal amount. So you could be whatever the fuck you is, you all on the same playing field. The only people that's living lavishly is the government officials. They, you know what I mean? And they bringing that to America. What do you think all that stimulus money shit is? And you know what I mean? Like, that's UBI, universal basic income. You know, if you're a good citizen, you're gonna get this little check. And most people are comfortable with, you know, I remember back in the day, that's why they said it was an issue with the welfare checks. They said motherfuckers got comfortable with it. So our state, literally, Ohio doesn't give out welfare checks after a certain amount of time. But you got states right now that still give out welfare checks. Facts. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And the precept to this goes into Revelations 18, talking about the iniquities, her sins have reached unto the heavens. And it talks about the smoke of this place is going to reach onto the heavens. So, I'm going to end the lesson there because at the end of the day, like, I ain't mean to talk this long. Like, sometimes I guess I'll be just rambling. So, Laki, I'm going to work on that, because you need more edification, more scriptures than you need your point of view, you know what I mean? Talk through the scriptures. But at the same time, sometimes brothers be just ranting, like the brother, um, what's the brother name? Demasha Pot from, I forgot what the brother, Dimash though. The brother Dimash, he got the Spirit GMS Vent channel. Because sometimes brother be just, you got to vent this shit up. You got to do something with it. That's why it's good to be off into something like if you exercise or you do some kind of like if you into some kind of art or boxing or something like that, you got to figure something else out. That's why you got to be balanced, and it's true, because otherwise you could bug out. You got to understand we ain't dealing with light knowledge. You know what I mean? It talks about with much knowledge is much sorrow in the scriptures in the book of Ecclesiastes. The more you know, that's why the Most High won't probably show us everything of this place. Look at the little bit of wickedness we know about. So just imagine if you knew what these devils really truly do. You know what I mean? If you want a taste of what they do, brothers was actually trying to expose this, so I'm gonna do it as well. It's a movie called 120 Days of Sodom. And if you go watch that movie, it will fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna say I got a weak stomach, but I can't watch that movie. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, that's a fucked up movie. And the crazy part is it's based on real life. Sometimes, reality is stranger than fiction. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to called Loyim, by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rachak, double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreign scattered abroad, in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Shalom.